Something I caught in this, and this actually dates all the way back to the fight with PK.
Your fight with PK?
Kind of, because it was basically calling out. Okay, here, let me set the stage for you, because it was about this episode. I'm not drifting off into senility, where she says he sent a 7-page email
Mm-hmm.
laying out his financial demand. And then one of the things he said was, you will be responsible for the mortgage on the house. That's the house in Encino. I was the one who called out that they didn't own that other house, the house they came on with. And part of his response to me was that this house in Encino is in Dorit's name. He said, we own it. It is in my wife's name.
We gonna stir it up and do things our way. So if you wanna move, get out of our way.
Hey.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. Wait, I need to do it. I don't want to rob you guys. Welcome, darlings.
Oh, God. She hasn't been on the show for how many years, and you are going to do that all the time.
And it's only going to get worse with time, just so you guys know. Okay? In case you have
Kathy Hilton impression instead.
Oh, I could do one. Let me see. Okay, this episode, she said, we were just doing this off camera too. I was like, what does she mean? She's Chinese from 3,000 years BC, 5,000 years ago. And it goes a little something like, and I told the emperor, you should build that little wall. What else do you have going on in your pathetic little empire? He was gonna call it the Kathy Wall, but I said, no, you take it. What else do you have going on?
If you really want to name it after me, you call it the Great Wall.
Yeah. When they hear great, they know who they're talking about.
Oh my gosh. Well, this episode was, because you and Nate were on last week. Sans me. No, so sad. Anyhow, and that was like more of a transitional, like very nice episode. Whereas this one didn't have like a ton of like conflict on camera. It was more about like conflict between people who were the off camera or like non-cast members.
The opening was like cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the flashbacks over the year. This is what I love when they do, because then it's going to be a good episode. It opened with that. It was black and white flashback scenes, dramatic music. You're like, oh my God. And then it cuts to a sunny picture of a house, the light Beverly Hills music. And you're like, oh, you're in for a journey this episode.
Yep. I thought it was funny because like rewatching the snippets of Dorit and PK's relationship, and there was that one where he sat her down and he was talking about her, and he makes like a little, I thought he was making a laugh, to be honest with you, and she took it as like he's getting choked up, which I thought was funny because like, and I remember thinking when I originally saw that, I thought he was laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, because I don't think he's not a serious man when it comes to relationships. Oh. He's not a serious man when it comes to her. He's not a serious man when it comes to his children. Like, the only thing he's probably serious about are his drinks and spending money.
I was going to say beating the sheriff out of town, avoiding the creditors, another passion of his.
Basically, yeah.
Did you catch with that where I have a theory where this is Dorit telling Bose about basically he stopped talking, he stopped replying to her, and then he just said, I'm at a friend's wedding, and that was it. I wonder if he had a date there.
Probably.
He's very quick. I wonder if there's been infidelity going on since before their breakup, because he's in a rush to get out of this marriage now. He obviously has found something else to look forward to.
Look, alcoholics easily in their drunkenness slip and fall into other people's vaginas or buttholes. Like, that's what happens. Like, it's so easy for them to. And so I wouldn't be surprised, although like I'm not necessarily going to die on that hill.
I mean,
But
well, like
I
Eric, we'll get into it later, but the way Erika later came out and said, yeah, Tom had side chicks and stuff. I mean, and the way Erika is seeing the big picture and how clearly this marriage is over, maybe that was the one punch she was going to not hit Dorit with tonight. Like, not only is your marriage over, but he has another woman.
Yeah. Because a lot of times people, but especially men, at least just in my 47 years on this planet, I've seen a lot of times they won't leave a sure thing until they have another sure thing lined up.
Yeah.
Because they need somebody to take care of all the stuff that like Dorit has been taking care of. Like she literally, like, I mean, as she says, like she's hidden stuff from everybody. She's like, been there for him and like taking care of all these other things in his life. So until he finds somebody else who's willing to do that, like, why is he necessarily going to leave her unless she actually leaves him? So I think you're right. I think he has found somebody. I will say this, because it comes up later at the end of the show when Kathy asks Dorit if she thinks that if PK is a good father, and Dorit says no, which was shocking, but I also think was the truth. Dorit has kind of walked that back since, but I was like, no. He's not a good father. Let's just make it clear. Just because you don't beat your children doesn't make you, like, just because you do truly the literal bare minimum for your kids doesn't make you a good father. The fact that you are gone most of the time, that you don't even call your children to check in on them, that when like you're going through a breakup and your child finally is realizing this and verbalizing it, you don't talk to them about this, you are not a good father. You're not a good father. I'm just going to unequivocally say that. I'm not mincing words. I don't give a shit anymore. Like, I don't care about these people's feelings because they're not my friends. And I can be wrong.
He's already called me a C word on Instagram. I'm not worried about his feelings.
Exactly. They don't care about me, and he obviously doesn't give a crap about his children or his ex-wife, the mother of his children. So screw him. And also I kind of feel like he's one of those men who had kids, kind of like the way that Keeley was talking about having kids to like pass on his genetics and have a fucking legacy. I hate that shit. I hate it when people talk that way.
Because this isn't PK's first marriage. PK has older kids too, right?
That's what I keep thinking, that he has an older child or children somewhere, and I don't know. I mean, good for them for not being a part of the conversation at all. You know what I mean?
I also may think he has like an older set of kids, because as our dear friend Kathy expressed, which is the feeling I was Googling his age. I was like people tracking his age because I had no idea he was only turning 56. I thought, like she said, he came on. I thought it was more of a May-December marriage. He wasn't as old as Tom to me, but I thought she was like 45 and he was like 65 when they joined the show. I had no idea.
To be honest, absolutely. I thought he was a lot older too. Like, look, people, this is what alcohol does to you. True. It ages you. Look, I mean, he already has being British like going against him, so that too.
Yeah.
So
anyway, if he's 56 now, he was in his 40s when they joined.
Yeah, and she was, I think, let's see, she joined in 2016, and she was in her late 30s. Wow. So, yeah.
Wow.
She would just have Phoenix when they joined.
How old is? Okay, how old? Okay, this is crazy because he's Boy George's manager, and I thought he was his manager as like a fatherly figure. Boy George is like almost 10 years older than him.
Yeah, Boy George is like what, almost 70 probably.
Yeah, yeah, 63 will be 64, so he's almost 10 years older than PK. I was like, yeah, well,
anyway, like that was, I felt like the little like luncheon with Bose and Dorit kind of sets up like the rest of like, or at least what's going to happen at dinner time, to be honest with you. At Kathy's dinner is what I mean. But next we have, and I will admit, I wrote most of my notes about this dinner between Bose and Keeley because just my red flag meter just kept going ping, 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 ping. Absolutely. I stand by what I said a few episodes ago. I don't trust him. I think he's an F-boy. Like, it even more so went off now. Like, okay. And we've already seen okay, let me back up here. A couple episodes ago, I said that one of our fans had sent me his Instagram and that I had noticed that she had said on there, "Love you, baby," stuff like that. He'd never said love, and he barely had acknowledged her in like comments or in posts, barely acknowledged her, but never even like said love you back. And look, couples who post way too much about each other or too lovey-dovey, I'm sus about too. But if there's like a little bit of like, especially if it's somebody's birthday and they're like, "I love you, baby," "I love you too," that's normal. And I think that's like a normal amount of like social media affection that one should show as a couple. But I noticed that he didn't do a lot of that like his life seemed to get a lot better once he was dating Bose and yada, yada.
And I'm sorry. One other thing with what you were saying is too, it's not like he's a private person. He's eagerly participating in these romantic date night scenes. So it's not like
Yes.
Morgan who's asked to please leave me out of the show now. He's here for he's here for the TV aspect.
Yes, he is. So when they're walking up to the restaurant, he's like, "I love this place. I love this spot." He keeps throwing around the word love when it comes to everything else but Bose. And I was like, okay, all right. And then, okay, this is kind of off track, but anybody who's been a server will agree with me. He orders his steak medium plus. There's literally no such thing as medium plus.
That's like,
you order your steak. That's well done. You might just say fucking well done. Say well done. Like, granted, I have an aversion to well done steak. Like, I have an aversion to a steak done over medium rare, but you do you, boo. Anyway, but I have absolute, it inflames me. This whole thing about like, I want medium rare plus. I want medium plus. No, that's not a thing. That's absolutely not a thing. Do you know what your server goes back and does when you say medium plus? He just hits well done. You know what they say when they say medium rare plus? They just hit medium. That is what they're hitting because there's no such fucking thing. Please stop it, people, please.
It sounds to me like when you're booking a flight in coach, sadly, that's what I'm used to. And they have now all these new subgrades. So it'd be like, do you want economy plus premium? And each one is like 1/3 of an inch of more legroom or $200 more.
Or you got to pay a little bit more to get to now get a window seat.
Gosh.
Versus an aisle seat. I mean, it's insane. But when she starts talking about, we've been talking about a lot of stuff, but we're like skipping over things. And she's like the whole like baby stuff. And she's like, "I kind of need a timeline." He's like, "You want to know if I'm wasting your time?" And she's like, Yeah, I do. And he says, and I quote, "I'm not going to say I'm not going to waste your time." I had to play that back a few times because also she did that exact same look. She was like, and I was like, that's a double negative. So if I take the not out of both of those, that says, "I'm going to say I'm going to waste your time." You're wasting her time. He said that he's wasting your time, Bose. He is wasting your time.
When she laid out the timeline, I was like, yeah, that kid's never going to happen, because she said she's 47. It's now or never, but she doesn't want to have the kid out of wedlock, which means they're in this honeymoon romance phase. He clearly isn't that serious. She wants a ring. She wants a wedding first. She's going to end up having the kid at 53. I mean, the way this guy is playing games. So I was just like, yeah, this isn't serious. This isn't going.
Well, because he's like, you're not pressure. He's like, I love the fact that you're not pressure. Again, using the word love, but not really about her. I love the way that you're not pressuring me. I get to move at my own pace. He is using you until somebody else better comes along, is what he's doing. And the fact of the matter is like, truly, Keely, nobody else better is going to come along than Bose. You may think somebody is because they are younger than her, but they are definitely not better than her. They are not better looking than her. They are not like smarter than her. They are nothing compared to her. Like, this woman is everything. And also, if they do end up having a baby together, I guarantee he's going to leave. He's going to leave so fucking fast.
Yeah.
He's a PK type of father. Like, this man lives probably in a studio apartment, maybe a 1-bedroom apartment
with his
in
big
San
beamer.
Diego.
Yeah, with his big beamer.
Exactly.
Yeah, leased.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get a lot of those in LA.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I lived in an apartment and had a BMW, and because I lived in my car. I mean, I didn't mean live in my car, but like, we spend a lot of time in our cars in Los Angeles, pre-pandemic, especially, commuting and everything. So it's nice to have a nice car, and that's fine, but not when you're a woman at the level that Bose is.
Yeah.
Please, like, she needs to be dating somebody who is at her level, and this man is not at her level. And I agree with her. It is hard to be 47 in Los Angeles and find quality men and just to date, period. Like, period. Let alone being a really successful, uber successful Black woman. I cannot even imagine how much tougher that is for her. So, but he's not it. Please kick him to the curb.
Yeah.
I know she's still with him, but please kick him to the curb. Please. I don't want to have to go Bozoma St. John on her about him. So
yeah,
okay, that's my rant. I'm done about him until probably next week, because we've already seen the signs for next week.
I mean, I said the other relationship, Kyle and Mauricio go and have that. I thought it was funny when he said he's been eating a lot of canned soup lately.
Right?
Like, no. Are you like, let's be real. He didn't move into a studio apartment bachelor pad. He moved into a $5 million condo, fully designer furnished in the heart of West Hall. Like, let me tell you, the man can afford DoorDash. The man, I think he was doing it to make her feel better. Like, no, I'm not living my best life over there.
I agree, yet also disagree. Because I do think that, yes, I think he's ordering a lot of DoorDash. He probably has a little like meals prepared.
He's out
and stuff
all
like
the
that.
time. How many meals does he actually eat at home?
Well, that's the thing, is that he probably doesn't really know how to cook without a sous chef or him being the sous chef. And he probably doesn't know how to do all that stuff. So it's like, and he probably doesn't even know how to figure out which like meal company to even have meals like prepared or delivered, like healthy meals. So he goes out, or he just is like at home is like, I'll just have soup.
Yeah.
I think he's just lazy. Like, because he's had Kyle taking care of him for all these years.
It's just when you picture the way once you've seen the condo, you guys, it is incredible. And then the way he paints his picture, like a bachelor, like he's like back in a frat house. Yeah, I don't know. Use the same towel for 2 weeks. I don't know how to work the laundry machine, Kyle. Love bean. I mean, that's what I was like. Okay.
I mean, he's another one. Like, I think, he's testing out people. Definitely. We've seen the pictures on TMZ and stuff like that. Yeah. So
one of them keeps checking, by the way, my IG stories. That one who is in with Aspen. That I told you guys about, that I thought it still keeps her name. I don't follow her, but her name, Alexandra. You guys saw her all over TMZ. And El Punto is, she still lingers. I see her in my stories sometimes. I'm like, I don't have Umansky money, so I'm a dead end.
Not yet.
Yeah. Oh boy, what else is there in this one? Kyle did finally admit, which is something that's been frustrating for a lot of people. She says she goes around each day trying to hide the struggle that this breakup has been for her. Because she has, we've been talking. Because we've been talking. What do you call it, Kyle? Exceptionalism? No, her breakup's different. No, we're not like the others. She finally admitted it. Look, they called her in the middle of the day, and she was in a dark room in bed. I mean, that's a little
right.
That's a lot more Beverly Hills divorcee than
Yeah.
she's been giving us.
I saw her on YouTube on Bravo Hot Mic. I think that's what they call it, the podcast that Alex Baskin
Yeah.
does, and she was on there. And I was like, okay, I know that this is like a Kyle Richards PR stunt to make me feel bad for her.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of working because like she's talking to him and she's talking about how everything, like, because she pushed down her feelings for so long, yet which we know that's what she does. She pushes down her feelings about things, but a lot of it was like Lorene's, her best friend's suicide from a couple of years ago, and that like a lot of it was finally really coming up last year and then this year, and the ways that, I mean, I suggest people go listen to it whether or not you like Kyle or not. I mean, obviously I'm over her. However, I still, even though I don't know these people and they're not my friends and I don't give a shit, I was like, I can see that too. Like that struggle of like, if you haven't been dealing with this, because she even said that like the charity, she went to, she threw that charity event about suicide that Morgan played at. But apparently there was a different charity that she went to first to do it. And they basically told her no, because you haven't dealt with her suicide yet.
Oh,
And
they told her she wasn't ready to be like,
yeah, they told her that. And and Kyle Richards' exceptionalism was like, no, I'm ready, da da. And she realized later on, she was like, no, they were absolutely right. I was not ready. I was not dealing with these things. So, I mean, and that's the thing, is that with life, is that everything always happens all at once. Like you get divorced, a parent dies, you hurt yourself, like you get cancer, or you break a bone, like everything literally always happens all at once. You keep getting hit, the waves keep crashing all over you. And later on, you realize that they're no longer crashing on you. And I think that's probably what's happening with her. But yeah, but her, like, I'm hoping that she's watching this season and realizing finally, like, this Kyle Richards exceptionalism, like she's no different than anybody else, no different than anybody else on this show, and no different than anybody else living in Beverly Hills or Los Angeles or on planet Earth.
Yeah. I did.
But anyway.
I did like the beginning of their trip to Augusta. It was, by the way, why were these women all fighting for a ticket to Augusta, Georgia?
I don't know.
That was like, why not me? Why not me?
I mean, this is the thing. I think it's one of those things where I was like, people just want to be invited so that they could say no to things.
Yeah.
And I think it's that, especially in a show like this, whereas I would just be like, well, I didn't want to go, but we're supposed to all care about this. The only in the way that like Sutton described it, I agree with Sutton with her thinking about this. And you don't want to make it a thing before it's a thing, but then you don't want to also ignore it before it happened. Like, I don't think that there was any winning for Sutton if she didn't invite all the women. But also I go, it's your fucking trip to meet your fucking mom. Like, do whatever the hell it's like your wedding. Invite whoever you want. If they want to be, if somebody doesn't get invited and they're pissed off, that's on them.
I looked up there because the way there, this is what gets me going, is the private terminal they went to.
As soon as I saw the private terminal, I was like, oh, Jordan needs a minute alone.
I know, I knew about it, and it's because I think what they've been doing is giving the service to Bravo celebrities and stuff who will raise the lifestyle profile. You get it. It's that. So they obviously didn't pay for it on the show here, but I've even seen Rachel Zoe do posts about it, like thanking them. But what it is I guess you can book it. What it is, a private terminal. What it is like your own first class lounge, and you get your own private first class lounge for your group. And then what they do is, and I've had that one trip a couple years ago where I went with Kathy in a group. We got the not private flight, but where they drive you onto the tarmac in Porsches to board your flight. And they got that, but they got something even better, which is the private first class lounge. And you pay $5,000 a year. And that's not that's just the membership to then pay $3,500 each flight for up to 4 people in your group to have their own little lounge. So what it is really is for people who don't want to spend, say, $70,000 each way going private, but they do want, like, if you're famous, you have your own separate area, so you won't be mobbed by people. So I haven't been in it, and that is I consider that a challenge. So just so you guys know.
There we go. Challenge accepted for 2025.
I'm putting my like spaceship and yacht things, but I need to get into this PS lounge.
Can you put that on your bingo card for this year?
Yeah, it's gonna happen. How much did you pay? I don't know. I sucked up and played like 9 different people against each other until I finally yeah. But so that was cool. But I mean, yeah, so they go there. They go to Augusta. Something I had to tell you guys, I looked up the house. It's a beautiful house. It is not technically a plantation home. If it puts your minds at ease, because I did see comments. I know it's in Georgia.
It looks like it was built in probably the like 50s or 60s something.
It was built after the Civil War, well after the Civil War. So at least, I mean, because that would creep me out too. A little Sutton with her like antebellum. No, so the only people who seem to be abused there are Sutton herself. So that's the history of the house.
Well, also, I was kind of unsure if this was a house that she and Christian bought and owned, or if like she bought it after the divorce with that little cottage in the back for her mom to live in.
It was her. No, she set it on there, and I looked, and the ownership dated back to when they were married, because they were both from there, and so they bought like a little home to return to family and whatnot, maintain their roots. But even one of them, I think Kyle, asked, "Oh, so you kept it in the divorce?" And Sutton said, "Of course."
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
But can we get into Reba? That's sweet.
Please.
That sweet angel.
She's so your type.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching her. Look, Vita from Shaw's is one of my favorite Bravo.
Oh, she's for sure your type.
Dale, Tinsley Mortimer's mother. Oh, so yeah.
Oh, Dale and Patricia from Southern, Miss Patricia. Those are kind of like your top tier, I would say. And then Vita,
yeah.
But Reba's there.
Reba's there. She's a little more down to earth than her daughter, but yeah.
Well,
what did you think
of?
She's not. She didn't come out in a feathered muumuu and cocktail rings. Yeah, like Patricia would.
Right. I am not a fan of Reba. Like I see, like Garcelle, I can see the similarities between the two of them. I mean, I think it's always really tough because for women, like if you don't like your mother and you're really afraid of turning into your mother, you're like, shit. Like,
yeah.
And there are that like, and a lot of it's genetic too. Like, I think some of it is just the way that Sutton kind of can like do that blank stare at people that just like Reba does and like, and does those things. But definitely, like it's also tough because like I come from Texas, which is kind of the South, but not the South. And so it also, it just, I'm not going to lie. Reba just triggers me a lot in that, like, in like Southernness and also my own issues with things of like, because when the way that like the whole thing of like, she hugged Garcelle, told her hi, and then she hugged Kyle and told Kyle she was pretty. And Garcelle clocked it, was like, she didn't call me pretty. And I was like, yep, that was on purpose. Like, that's on purpose.
We know the question that's going through everyone's mind, and I don't have an answer either. I don't know Miss Reba, but do we think Miss Reba is racist? Garcelle is a good sport about it. I mean, you see she's humoring her. She is
I mean,
the
she
way
bought her a scarf. She brought her she did the really nice and Southern proper thing of like bringing a gift. She didn't have to. She absolutely did not. Kyle did not bring a gift. And
yeah.
Kyle has a lot more money than Garcelle does. And for her to just, it doesn't matter if Reba does not like the scarf at all. You suck it up. That is not the Southern way to be rude to somebody's face like that, who you don't know, who is a guest here in your home. Like, let's be real here. I found that incredibly rude as a Southerner myself. To be like, I would have graciously accepted it. And I was, thank you so much. This was so sweet. You do not have to say that I love it. You don't have to lie like that. You said, this was so sweet, so unexpected. You shouldn't have. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. That's all you need to say.
I think maybe that's what I meant earlier when I said she's more down to earth. I actually think what I meant was rougher around the edges. She is not Patricia Altschul. She's not Dale Mercer. So, I mean, she really is. She's kind of abrupt and also like not for this Southern matriarch or whatever. She's not very polite. It's not even backhanded. Kathy, the way Kathy handles the dinner party later is more Southern about PK. The Reba is a little, no.
I wonder if like Reba like puts on airs. Do you know what I mean? Like she was like she doesn't come from a rich family and married into a little bit of money, and then her daughter married into a lot of money, and so it's like she's a little bit too big for her britches in a way, but also doesn't want to conform to. Okay, this is what it is for me. Okay. I understand that Sutton has it like that she wants a supportive mother, but okay, hold on. Let me take this back. Sutton wants a supportive mother, not a mother who puts men ahead of her own happiness. And that's what Reba does, because that is the way that Reba was raised and continues to think. And so everything that Sutton does is around, well, how can I keep my money? How can you keep your money? And I think, and it's to the detriment of their relationship, because you can think that, you can think practically about like, how am I going to survive? How is my child going to survive? Absolutely. But when you don't think about the happiness of your child first, and maybe then think about financial happiness second, that ruins relationships. And that's what I felt and saw.
And here too, like you see when Erika in previous seasons has gone and visited her mother in Georgia, and her mother's a tough cookie too, but Erika is a tough cookie. Erika is her mother's daughter in a different way than Sutton and her mother. So when you see Erika and her mother, you're like, that's where she got it. With Sutton, it's like it's complicated because they are similar, but I think Sutton's also more fragile, obviously more fragile. It's like it didn't work out the way it didn't make Sutton strong the way it made. Because I see when she was talking about she just wants her mother to respect her and stuff, I was like, that's where it comes from in prior seasons. The moment she starts feeling brushed aside or left out of the group, she has a panic attack and a meltdown and yells at them. I think it's because her mother's always brushed her aside.
Well, I mean, she said it. She said, when you're raised by a narcissist and then you marry a narcissist, like, yeah, you're gonna feel that way, that like you don't matter to people, or that your feelings never matter to somebody. So and yeah, it can definitely, and different people react differently to that. And obviously for her, it gives her a lot of anxiety, which then she takes out onto people. Which isn't necessarily she should talk to her therapist about that.
Okay, yeah, like with Erika seeing her mother, I see like Erika operates like her, very strong. You see how she moves. With Sutton, I see with her mother the reason Sutton reacts to people badly. It's more like I
Mhm.
see her trauma, where with Erika, I
Yes.
see her conditioning. So, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. I also see, like, with again, like, the difference in Erika and Sutton is that Eric I see almost like the social climbing aspect of it through Sutton and, like,
Mhm.
this whole, like, southernness of, like it's actually very hard for me to, like, put into words, but almost like Erika and her mother didn't give a crap about society or having to move within
Mhm.
those circles. It really was about surviving and living and making it through to the next day. Whereas, like, I think Reba and and Sutton and that whole side, they lived in more of that world of, like, society climbing. What do other people think?
Mhm.
How do we move in this world? And that's really tough at times to, like, because you want, like, I think Sutton wants to be really strong and wants to be a little bit more Erica
Mhm.
like, but there's this but it's like she can't because she wants her mother, like, and she lost her father to suicide. And so
Yeah.
it's like, and so you've got, and that's who she was close to. So her father leaves her and leaves her with the woman who does not support her, who she doesn't feel loved by.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and she's in a loveless marriage. And so yeah, so she's trying to, like, find her own feet. I mean, it gives me, yeah, it just gives me insight into, like, her trauma for sure.
Yeah. That's oh, another fun thing I said. So with this visit, it kind of ends with a preview where I guess we'll see it next week, where Garcelle is like, I want to sit down and have a chat with Reba. And this is where it was interesting to me too. Kyle absolutely is like, no. Like,
Yeah.
Kyle is like, that is way too complicated. You are not prepared. And Kyle gets it. Kyle
Yeah.
is the daughter of Big Kathy. And if
That's what I
Garcelle,
was thinking.
if like Garcelle, if Kyle isn't telling you you are not ready for Reba, you are not ready.
Mhm.
Kyle,
Yeah,
if Kyle wanted to take a bottle of Xanax, she could sit down with Reba. She's lived it. She knows.
yeah,
Big Kathy's Reba's supreme. But I mean,
yeah,
Garcelle does it. Yeah, Kyle is just like watching and laughing, like
yeah,
a lamb off to slaughter.
yeah. I feel sorry for Garcelle, but I think though it's also those times where, like, you have to go, and I think it's important for people to, like, realize that sometimes when people have issues with their parents, you can't you can't look at it through the lens of your own relationship with your parents of how people
Mm,
should deal with it, because you literally don't know what their parent is
yeah.
like. And so Garcelle, I love Garcelle, she's being supportive of her friend and everything, but I do think Kyle is right in this. And, like, Kyle can see the very similarities and is like, that's not for me. And I think, and Garcelle is coming from a place that a lot of people come from, of, like, this is your mother, this is, like, I think I know best, and, like, she's really soft, she's really, like, all mothers are soft, and no, they're
Mhm.
not. No, they're
Yeah.
not. They're humans too. So just like we can have bad fathers, we can have bad mothers too. And I'm not saying that Reba is a bad mother. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying emotionally toxic parents exist. And
Sutton's kind of said it for us. She's yeah.
yeah. Well, look, I mean, it's just, if you've never had a toxic parent, I don't think that you can't tell somebody that how they should be in relationship with their
Yeah.
toxic parent. Just support them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm not saying that Garcelle's not supporting her, but it makes for good reality television
Garcelle
fodder. So.
doesn't know a situation like, and it clicked for me when Kyle said this is a very complicated family dynamic. I'm staying out of it.
Yep.
Who has the
Yep.
most complicated family dynamic on Bravo?
You know what? When Kyle said that, what the image that ran through my head was Amsterdam and her throwing down her napkin and running out of the restaurant.
Reba would have my
Oh.
back like a real. Then
Oh,
I guess
man.
so. From
Well,
there,
should we
that
go to dinner?
yeah, dinner at Kathy's. She's back on. long
Well, it looks
absence.
like actually she had been back. There was like some type of spa day at Kathy's because there was because apparently Garcelle told Erika about the Augusta trip, and she was like, when we were getting our IVs, and the Chiron said spa day at Kathy's, and I
Oh
was like,
yeah,
well, we didn't
she had a
do this.
wellness. That's right. But those were all kind of I can tell you guys in real time, those were all like within days of each other. Like
Mhm.
the spa day happened. You can actually probably go on Kathy's Instagram. I remember the post there. You can see. But it was all within a filming block. But I guess she
Yeah.
was away, and I think she said Capri in Italy.
Mhm.
The hence the lemon thing. But a fun fact for you guys is if you want to watch Bravo and read through it like I do, the lemon themes, then head over to Kathy's IG. It was also what are those lemons called? Seedless something. The company who makes Palm Wonderful. They
Oh,
also
yeah.
own a kind of seedless lemon that was also a sponsor of the dinner party. Hence all the
The
lemons.
Resnick family who owns like
Yes.
most of the water in California, apparently.
They
Yep.
own Blue Diamond Almonds, Palm
Mhm.
Wonderful, lots of things.
Pistachios.
So it
Yep.
was when I saw all that lemon stuff, I was like, ooh, and then I was like, oh wait. And if you look, she posted it like yesterday or the day before. Basically, you'll see all the sponsorships that go into that lemon
Mhm.
theme. So
I mean, Carol was there, so we know that they were there. I did want to like go, Carol, stand up straight. She like hunches over. Maybe she was trying to keep her like, 1980s like sweaters over her shoulder preppiness like on, but I was like, Carol, stand up straight, girl.
she
You're
is.
taller than that. Come on. You don't have to bow down for Kathy.
No, that's where you're wrong. No. Yeah, that, but no. Yeah. I mean the actual dinner was good. I mean,
Mhm.
it opens up right off the bat. Bose turns to Kathy and says, "Your sister, I assume, is warm to many people, but she's not to me."
Yep. Look, this is why Bose is already like a top tier housewife.
Mhm.
Like she just first season, granted, second season's gonna be tough for her, but first season, she's knocking it out of the park. She's coming not with guns blazing. She's coming with a lighter, I feel like. She's like, here, let's start a little fire here.
Yeah.
Let's put a little bit of light. Let me shine a little light. Let me ask some questions.
She's not
Mhm.
confrontational, but she's direct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. And she's not afraid to ask those questions.
Right, and when she approaches them, it's not in a way to fight, but I mean, she doesn't mince her words. It's
Mhm.
and yeah, I mean, she pointed out it cuts from her telling Kathy, asking Kathy why, and then she goes to confessional and says, "Well, it might be because I befriended Dorit first, and
Mhm.
this is like a schoolgirl game, like an
Mhm.
elementary school game."
Yeah, which I
Absolutely
agree with.
accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't find fault with that analysis. I mean, Buzz really seems to read these
Yeah.
people.
I mean, look, when Kathy said, I'm part Chinese going back 5,000 years, in the conventional, she was like, "What? Girl, shut up."
I met this woman in Venice, and she knew
Right.
everything.
I love it because all of them are like, "Oh, did you do 23andMe or Ancestry.com?" She's like, "No, I met a woman in Venice. She knows everything about me." She's like, "I met a palm reader in Venice."
My God. Oh, you know it's funny because this was such a funny. I cracked up at Dorit for this, and I don't know if she was aware of how she was setting herself up to launch into the misery of her marriage. So after they talk about that, the settings are coming out. Dorit is unfolding the napkin, sees its monogram. She's like, "These are so beautiful." It was like RKH. Rick.
Mhm.
She's like, "Rick and Kathy Hilton." Anyway, so my marriage is on fire.
I know. She's not missing words either. She's like, it's on flames.
She's like, "Oh,
It's going down.
look at your cute napkins. Let me tell you about my marriage." I set all
It's a
the napkins on
bonfire.
fire. Yeah. God. That's a pretty
Oh
weird,
my
that's a
god.
pretty real conversation. The vibe I got from it, seeing these people around, that wasn't a hunky-dory act. That wasn't
No.
that felt very natural and to me seemed very organic.
It felt like real girlfriends having a
Mhm.
real, come to Jesus
Yes.
talk with their friend. And I had a similar conversation with with a group of friends a couple of weeks ago where we sat down with a friend who was going through a custody issue and had been through like a bunch of lawyers and finally was like meeting with a lawyer who was like a shark, and we're like, she's like, but they're so expensive. I said, do it. I was like, let them be a bitch for you. I was like, you're scared. You've been walked all over for
Mhm.
years. I was like, and you've lost money and you're losing time and you're losing sanity and you're losing time with your children. I was like, you're losing so much. I was like, and you're afraid of being a bitch, right? You're afraid of like your ex-husband like doing all this stuff. And she's like, yeah. I was like, so pay somebody to do it for you.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what you do. I was like, that's why you want, like, look, anybody listening to this who might get a divorce, whatever, you hire a fucking bulldog attorney, just like Erika was saying. Like, you hire somebody and you let them go after them for you.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, just like we thought, PK is not playing around and he's gonna be a total dick.
Yeah,
Like,
you
he's gonna
you
make her life miserable.
you can't trust an ex like PK, especially when it comes to
Mm-mm.
finances. So honestly, there's a chance whatever you're paying the lawyer, they will get that back and more for you. If you're
Exactly.
trying to handle it through legal Zoom, he's gonna take the vacation home, he's gonna screw when you have a lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
you might pay a lot, but they're gonna get a
Mm-hmm.
lot more for you. So let them, like you
Yeah.
said, let them handle the dirty work.
Exactly. And I appreciated, like, I mean, I think all three of them were like talking really smartly to her. And interestingly enough, even Kathy, even though she hasn't been divorced, I think she's seen enough friends' divorces. And she's also like, she's a smart businesswoman too, in the
Mhm.
sense of like, she knows how to like I feel like you just get to a point in life and you recognize human nature and you just know that like people aren't going to play nice anymore. And that's what happens. Like right now, as far as we know, Kyle is being the exception to the rule that things do seem to be being okay, at least with her separation. She's
Mhm.
still just separated from Mauricio.
Yeah.
But like divorce, when money comes into things, just like divorce and death, you don't know how people are going to act. When money comes up, when that type of people get insane, they get
Yeah.
crazy. And don't start thinking that you're the exception to the rule. And I think like Dorit is just, like she said, like the rose colored glasses are coming off. And she kept calling herself an idiot. And I think a lot of women do that, but they shouldn't, because they've been sold a false bill of goods. We've been lied to our entire lives that we were supposed to, like, if we did everything right and if we found the right man, that, and we were just the perfect wife and the perfect, mother and everything like that, that this would work out. Or if we were nice when it came to our divorce, so we kind of gave them what they wanted, they would leave us alone, or they would give us what we wanted. And that's not true. It's
Mm.
absolutely not true. I don't trust a man with a divorce. I really do. I don't trust anybody with a divorce. Like, don't. But especially not a man.
The one I would trust with the divorce advice is Erika. I mean,
Yeah.
she revealed she is
Mm-hmm.
smart. I mean, obviously we
Mm-hmm.
know she was married to him for decades, big lawyer, and what she went through. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she is quick with that advice. I would take it from her. She was
Yeah.
being on it. I mean, like, oh, we were talking about that earlier in the episode. Like, she was like, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to pull any punches. You need to hear this,
Yeah.
Dorit.
And I mean, when she told Dorit straight up, she was like, PK doesn't want you anymore.
Hmm.
Because Dorit said something to the effect of like, well, what if I want to go back? She was like, PK doesn't want you back.
Hmm.
And it's so tough to hear. But I really think either Erika or Bose were the only two people who could have told her that.
Hmm.
I don't even think Kyle could have told her that, even if they were in a good place. I don't think Kyle would have told her that.
Yeah.
And I think Bose also like knows, because Bose has been in business for so long and she's been in spaces with men behaving badly. when it comes to like.
I don't know if it was on the show or in a separate interview, but she did say when her late husband passed, they were going through a divorce. So she had been,
Yeah.
or they were separated at least. So
They were separated and they kind of reconciled because he was
okay.
so sick. Yeah.
So I mean, she has
Yeah.
had some kind of tension
Mhm.
before, but I mean,
Yeah.
Erika, like,
Well, but Erica's been through 2 divorces. 'Cause you also
true.
have her first husband, the father
Yeah.
of her child, so her son. So it's just like, oof, it's I'm glad to see Dorit getting that advice. It's just, will she take it? And I hope she does, because also for the sake of her children and her children's mental health, to be honest with you. Because when you've got a bad lawyer, or if you're trying to be nice in the divorce with somebody who's not nice, it just drags on, and it drags on for the children too. It's not healthy.
So something I caught in this, and this actually dates all the way back to the fight with PK that I had on
Your
Instagram or
fight with
Twitter,
PK?
kind of, because it was basically calling out. Okay, here, let me set the stage for you, because it was about this episode. I'm not drifting off into senility, where she says he sent a 7-page email
Mhm.
laying out his financial demands, which essentially he's told her we're divorcing by doing that.
Mhm.
And then one of the things he said was, you will be responsible for the mortgage on the house. That's the house in Encino. Well, I remember, I believe part of the fight, that thing was how I was the one who called out that they didn't own that other house, the house they came on with, that they came on the
Right.
show with, that big white monstrosity. And
Mhm.
so that was all a front. And part of his response to me was that this house in Encino is in Dorit's name. He said, we own it. It is in my wife's name. And that just clicked for me. Yeah.
Oh my
And now he's
gosh.
telling her, I'm leaving and you have to pay for the house. So
And that he's trying to divorce her before 10 years too.
yeah. I mean, he knows he can't. I mean, I'm sure he knows whatever their finances are. That house was very expensive. It was like 7, somewhere between 7 or 8 million. 6. El Punto is, I don't know if she can afford to keep that going. And he's leaving her high and dry. He's
I
aiming
mean,
to
that's
leave her high and dry.
well, yeah, but she could also sell it though too, and then make a profit off of it, maybe, hopefully. This is the thing. So my father is a criminal defense attorney, but also practiced some family law, and he
Mm,
would talk about how a lot of women, it would be very important to them to to still to keep the house in a divorce, especially if they had children. It was, to keep their kids at the same school and like keep those things. He was like, but then basically a lot of times the women would become house poor because
mhm.
they wouldn't have enough money to keep up the house and all of these things. And it would have been a lot better if they had gotten the house, but then sold it, or if they had just agreed to like split the house and the proceeds. And then she could have bought a smaller house or rented something smaller, but in the same area. I just
That's the
remember,
story of Grey Gardens.
yeah,
He ended up with
basically,
the
yes.
mansion and nothing else. Yeah.
Yes. So a lot of times, again, and I know I get shit about this all the time, although it's getting less and less, that like home ownership is not the end all be all here in America. And you can be house poor. And so if you're getting a divorce and you have children, sometimes keeping the house is not the best thing.
Mm,
Like sometimes it is better to get that cash, to get that money and do something else with it, or leave him with the house. Let him pay for that house on his own,
yeah.
you know?
Well,
Like let him do that. But obviously if the mortgage is in Dorit's name, then that's something
yeah,
completely
it's
different.
it.
But
And
she should get rid of that house. It'll
yeah,
be an
oh, yeah,
albatross.
absolutely. That's what I was getting at. Was she's not going to be able to maintain that lifestyle. I mean, we've the whole show is questioned at the peak of their marriage. Could they maintain this lifestyle? Was it real? But now he's
Mhm.
leaving her. He's not paying for the mansion either. And he
Yeah.
said all related expenses. So yeah, as Erika laid out, he's trying to have they filed yet for divorce?
I don't know.
Because
I should look that
I'm
up real
trying to
quick.
think, because I mean they were smart to catch that, the 10-year thing.
I mean, you know what's funny is that I'm always saying,
Yeah.
I don't see anything that they've filed for divorce. No, I don't believe that they had filed for divorce. So actually, I think they got married around Christmas or New Year's. So if they haven't filed by now, then they've hit the 10-year
Good.
mark, which is good.
The next question then is, what is there to split?
Mhm.
We still
That's what I
don't
wonder.
know.
To be honest with you, actually, I wonder, but I would need to talk to a lawyer. So if there are any, like, divorce attorneys out there or family law attorneys, maybe you could write it in the comments on on our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. I always forget to say this at the beginning of the episode, but I wonder though, because like sometimes the clock starts when you file for separation. So I don't know if the filing for separation could start the clock on that 10-year,
Yeah.
mark or not. I'm not sure. Although I think they would have brought that up because Erika would definitely know that. I remember I learned about the whole 10-year thing from when Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise got divorced,
Right.
because he divorced her right underneath those 10 years.
Yeah.
But I wonder if, like, since that mortgage is in her name, if that was really their biggest asset, and somebody then was like, "You stupid head, PK, if you divorce her before 10 years, you don't get that house. It is in her name, and therefore she can sell it and she can get all the profits off of it." So he was like, "Oh, well, shit, I need, at least half of that money."
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Oh shit. I need half of that money.
I'm looking now. This is an article from November 4th, this past November, a few months ago, that the house was once again in pre-foreclosure and the pair has missed more than 4 months of payments. That's what I mean. See, even if she keeps the house, there may not be much equity. They paid, they paid 6.5 for it. Knowing them, they put down a couple $100,000 and took out like a $6 million mortgage. I don't know what's going to be left for her.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be much.
I guess this didn't work because I was going to be like, next step from Erika's advice is for Dorit to go find a man like Tom Girardi, but she needs to go find her next rich. Oh, there are guys in Beverly Hills who would scoop her up. They may have grandkids at this point, but she's a catch. Go for it.
Yeah. Dude. Wow.
I'm trying to find their address right now. We'll probably have to follow up on this because I can't see. I know where I'll find it, but I have a way of finding out how much equity they have in their home.
Let's do
and then
it.
that will tell you what the outstanding mortgage is.
Let's make PK call you a cunt another time.
This is what, I am nothing if not nosy.
Look, especially when it comes to real estate, like, you've got it.
The way Erika lit up with her divorce advice, that's how I feel when people talk to me about like estate planning and things like that. I'm like, this is what you're going to do. You're gonna where's your where's your standing in the bloodline here? Because I think we could actually challenge the trust, and then you can flip those legal bills over to the estate. Like, yeah.
That's how I am about like F boys, like getting rid of those guys. Like, no, you get rid of Bose, you get rid of Keeley. No.
We don't have we need to organize a life coaching lesson with the whole cast. This is
I think so. Man, I want to give it for so many of these shows. Oh my gosh. Yeah. There was something. Oh shit. Oh, something hit me the other day about one of the other shows that we don't really cover, but I was like, oh man, it goes along with like Beverly Hills and OC, but I can't remember it. I'll think about it next week when it'll come back to me. Or I'll just put it on TikTok or something like that. I need to get back on our TikTok and everything. So that's a good plug to follow us on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and Blue Sky.
We're everywhere. YouTube as well. If you want to see our,
Oh, let me do it. Let me do a quick check while we're here. Like, how many subscribers we are almost there. Come on. Oof. We are 96 away from our 1,000. So, guys, we need 96. 96. So if you're watching right now, just hit that subscribe button. Because again, we want 1,000 by Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Be our Valentine. Show us the love. Show us the love.
Even if you are PK Kemsley listening, subscribe so you can see the faces of your enemies.
Right? Right? So that you know when you're not in town, who's around.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I guess we should say, wait, top of the morning.
No, absolutely fucking not.
Why not? Why would you deprive me of this great joy? Adios, guys.